It's one of our other Halloween episodes for 2020, right?
Right.
And we thought, what a better way than to talk about all the pop culture monsters that have inspired us in Halloween.
Okay, we're talking what? We're talking monsters.
We're talking like the Universal monsters, like Dracula, and the Wolfman, and Frankenstein, and the Mummy. But then on top of that, the new monsters that really in the pop culture have impacted us even.
Sure.
So I think today we talk about those monsters, and then maybe we give everybody our own opinion of who we think is the best monsters.
That sounds good.
At Whiskey Pop, we're the definitive experts on that, right?
Oh, because our opinions matter.
That's right. So hey, you know what? Join us right after this. So welcome to Whiskey Pop. My name's Jeff.
And my name is Zane.
And so today we're going to talk about
monsters.
The monsters, like some monsters of pop culture, not just the old monsters,
right?
But some of the new stuff, right?
Right.
But I think before we get started, today's kind of like, do you remember when you brought on the episode of Tabasco whiskey drink?
Oh, of course I remember that.
This is my payback for that.
Surely this is not payback.
It's not payback. It's actually
this is supposed to be good.
It's supposed to be pretty good, actually. So I know it's been kind of trendy to do peanut butter whiskeys, right?
Right.
So today we're gonna do squirrel peanut butter whiskey.
Okay.
So I mean, this is new for us. I think it's new in our area. Jim Beam makes it.
I did not.
And it's funny because it comes out of produced and bottled in Chicago. But
it's
made by Jim Beam. Oh, you know what? I think we should try this because, we've been talking about the thing to do is make peanut butter whiskey. There's like Screwball and these other guys. Are like, so I guess Squirrel is the new one. So it's funny. It's SQRRL.
Squirrel. Let's try this.
So let's try it. So let's just smell it because I'm telling you right now, I'm not lying. It's peanut butter.
Yeah. There's a little bit of
kind of some oaky woody stuff going on there, maybe.
I was gonna say ass, but it has a not a pretzel. Help me here. A praline.
Praline, yeah, caramel praline.
God, it was hard for me to pull that out.
So to be honest, I was trying to find something that would be candy cornish.
Oh,
for the episode, but like, okay, this is the closest thing I got, and everybody's making a peanut butter whiskey. It seems like
I'm ready to actually try it.
So let's try it because it's pretty good, I bet.
It's got the sweet.
There's a lot of sweet. Now,
but we'll have to see how this goes because that's the thing about that Tabasco Dickel I didn't like was that the sugar content just kept
riding it.
Yeah, and it just made it not good.
Let's talk monsters.
Sounds good.
Okay, so obviously we have to give huge props to Universal monsters like Dracula.
They are the classics.
The Wolfman, Frankenstein, the Mummy.
Yeah, the quintessentials.
This is what made monster movies, right?
Of course.
I mean, 1930s, 1940s, these were the monsters.
Yeah.
So, and then later, in the 30s and then the 40s into the 50s, we started getting B-movie monsters like the Blob and the Saucer Man and the Wasp Woman.
Killer Tomatoes.
Exactly, Killer Tomatoes. But monsters have always been a huge part of pop culture.
Oh yeah.
And so I think it's continued on since the original Universal guys.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think we should talk about what we would consider be the most influential monsters of pop culture.
So we're talking monsters that are just monsters in general, or monsters that affected things?
I think monsters are big monsters of pop culture, so people are aware of these monsters. These monsters have had an impact in pop culture at one point or the other. And today, they're still probably some of the cooler monsters out of all the monsters we've been given so far.
So number 10.
So number 10, there was this remake movie in 1980s called Little Shop of Horrors, starring
Rick Moranis?
Rick Moranis, right?
Yeah.
Who just got punched in the face in New York just like a week ago.
Apparently New York's back. That's what I hear.
Yeah, man comes out of being a hermit and he gets punched in the face. I mean, come on, really? He's a Ghostbuster, for God's sakes. But
Some
anyway,
things are sacred. National treasure, people.
that's right. So this would be Audrey too.
Audrey, too.
So now I think in the original Little Shop of Horrors play it was Audrey Jr.
Oh, really?
But I think in the movie they made it Audrey 2.
Well, tell me about that, because I'm such a big fan.
Yeah, since you've never seen.
I've never seen it.
How can you never see Little Shop of Horrors?
I've never seen it.
That's
But guess
so
what?
sad.
Everybody knows the lines. Like,
Everybody knows the lines. Everybody knows the songs.
yeah.
I
And
mean, it is a musical.
so there is a thing.
There is a thing. And so, but Audrey 2 is a space alien from outer space in the form of a plant.
Yeah.
Who basically, spoiler alert, coerced a very shallow ego person into taking care of them and feeding them real people.
It's macabre.
And then they send out more of these little babies to go out into the world to make more of these little things so they can eat more people. Hence the Little Shop of Horrors. And so
So you're saying this one's number 10 because, A, it's well known.
it's well known.
It is a monster.
It fits that 1950s B-movie monster even.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's a big giant plant that eats people. I mean,
It's
come
like
on.
B-movie. I'm expecting to watch it on Elvira's House of Horror kind of
So
thing.
it's crazy. So, I mean, you think about that. You got this great movie monster that's memorable. People
Yeah.
always hear the word, feed me. You
Seymour.
know, feed me, Seymour. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
pop culture, right?
Yeah. Oh, it definitely hits that thumbprint.
Okay, so number 9.
Number 9. Okay.
Number 9. Now, how often does a non-Star Wars reference ever show up?
Yeah. But this is a good one.
This is a great one. I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of monsters in Star Wars. We had a couple.
Yeah.
But this was like, I would say this is the biggest one next to a sandworm.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be, of course, we're talking about the Rancor.
We're talking about the Rancor in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. It really was a monster. It had, I mean, it was menacing.
And it was animatronic that they built a puppet. Later, I think it became CG in the remakes.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
Let's not talk about that. That's a sore spot in Star Wars fans. But regardless of that, I mean, it's funny thing I heard about that is people on the set, people who built this thing.
Yeah.
They said it was a cross between a bear and a potato. That's one mean spud.
That's one mean spud.
But it's crazy. I mean, that's how they compared it. It was a cross between a bear and a potato. I mean, that's a scary damn potato.
Yeah, no, and it had a menacing flair to it that added to that first portion of that particular movie. You know, and who doesn't recognize Rancors today?
Oh, I mean, everybody see a Rancor and they go, "Oh, that's the thing that was in Star Wars." They may not even remember what movie it was, but they know.
Yeah, they know
it's
what
Star
it
Wars.
is. Yeah,
It's as much as Jabba the Hutt. You know, I mean.
sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So number 8.
Okay.
This one, a lot of people would agree this belongs in the top 10 list. It's an alien from outer space. He has an immense amount of abilities. He lives for centuries, millions of years, and he's a clown.
We must be talking about Stephen King's ultimate novel,
It.
It,
And Pennywise.
and Pennywise.
I mean, Pennywise, think about it. This is a creature that lived in the ground for millions of years, waiting for humans to show up,
Yeah, something.
and then basically tortures the town of Derry for centuries.
Yeah. It is a monster movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's a monster story.
It's a monster.
And the new double feature movies do really good in capturing what the book was about.
You know, I remember for us growing up, all we had was the TV series they did in the late 80s or
With Tim Curry.
With Tim Curry.
He's been monsters forever.
I think he's literally a monster
In real life.
in real life.
Yeah.
He's awesome. But
Yeah.
he's a monster in real life.
But the It monster in itself is one of those things that it is pulp culture. And so much so that jokesters were going around, remember, like recently, and they were tying red balloons
Oh, yeah,
to the sewer grates.
Yes.
and it was so much so that like police and stuff were responding to this as if it was some sort of public threat.
I remember when the new It movie came out and there was this whole clown thing going on.
Oh yeah.
Remember there were people dressing up as clowns and being creepy and just showing up?
I think it was probably a publicity stunt put on by the studios.
You think so? It did kind of stop at some point.
It stopped.
Yeah, it might have been, but it was creepy by itself. I mean, okay, so this next one, number 7.
7.
For this not to be in the list would be insulting. It's the xenomorph.
Oh, it's quintessential monster. It's
Alien, right?
Alien is great.
Alien, the face huggers, the mother.
There must have been 20 B movies made after Alien that just straight up knocked it off.
God, there was tons of them.
Yeah, and other movies that we've already talked about, Spaceballs, and it's like they have like these little nods to what Alien is.
Rips out of John Hurt's chest again and does the hello my baby, hello my honey.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that? I had heard that in that movie, they actually shot that scene in Alien where he burst out of his chest. That's a one shot.
I understood that the cast wasn't sure what was going to happen.
They did not know what was really going to happen.
That was real.
And John Hurt's response was even almost real because he knew something was going to happen with it. He knew it was going to burst out, but he had no idea what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
So when that thing came out, went, and it kind of looked around and ran off. They're really losing their shit in that scene. So as we were making this list, right? As we were making this list, I sent it to you and we're like, okay, that's our list.
Yeah.
And then our buddy David, who's always in the room, said, hey, you guys kind of forgot this person. And we were like, we have to write this whole list all over again. And that was because David made a big point that, well, what about the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man? I'm like,
you know what?
You can't have the top 10 quintessential monsters and not have Stay-Puft in there.
Yeah.
So number 6 is
the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man.
Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man.
I love the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man in so many different ways. He is a kaiju.
Yeah, ghost kaiju, right?
A ghost kaiju.
Yeah, that's right, a ghost kaiju. What did you do, Ray?
Yeah, what did you do? I'm sorry, guys.
What did you do, Ray?
The way that he came about is brilliant.
I couldn't help it. We just sat around the fire in Lake Titicaca, and it just popped in there. What popped in there, Ray? What did you do? And then he's like, Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man.
That particular, if we want to call him a monster, because he is.
He is.
He's a monster. Is great because it's so not scary that it's creepy.
It's not scary. And think about this. We have to be realistic. This was shot with a guy wearing a suit, like Godzilla style suit, going through a miniature New York City.
Well, I would say that the best monsters have always been that. A guy in a suit. Even the xenomorph is a suit, right? Is a really thin man in that suit.
Yeah.
And they have to act those roles out.
You're right, and that's a good segue to number 5.
We're talking about the Predator.
The Predator.
Now, as many of you probably already know, the scenes of the Predator when he's invisible is none other than Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That's right, Jean-Claude Van Damme. That Van Damme-age.
That Van Damme. Whenever you see the creature running in that invisible mode, you can tell it's him. You can
tell it's Van Damme.
In the gait and the way that he moved, it's like you can tell it's him.
Weren't they initially going to cast him as the creature, and then they changed the way the creature looked? And
and then they built and put in I can't remember the guy's name, but a really large, tall dude.
Yeah, so then they changed all the scenes that he was been shot, but they kept all the invisible scenes or the cloak scenes.
If you've been waiting to see a movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger, Van Damme,
and Carl Weathers
get together.
Predators.
It's already happened. It's Predator.
That's right.
It's Predator. Predator.
You're one ugly mother.
Yeah, exactly. And that's great. That's a good monster.
It's a good monster, and I think it's fit for number 5.
Yeah, I do.
So we're down to our top 4.
Yeah.
We can't ignore the fact that there has been some incredible monsters that were given to us in the 30s and 40s.
Sure.
So number 4 would be the Wolfman or the Werewolf.
The Werewolf, Wolfman, Teen Wolf.
How many werewolf movies have we done? There has to be as many werewolf movies as there is vampire movies.
They'd be close.
So, but I think if you go back, you have to look at the original Wolfman.
Right.
And that would be the one that was starring Lon Chaney, right?
Okay. And that's the part I don't remember, but I think you're correct. because I always get confused on the story arc, but we're talking about a movie that, in all sense, was a completely original idea.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, werewolves Lycan's been around for centuries, obviously.
But not put in the way of, the struggle that was in that movie.
No, so the character in the movie where he did not want to hurt anybody. He was always begging them to chain him up and put him away so he couldn't, or kill him.
Yeah.
It was kind of like this guy with a curse that didn't want the curse because some gypsies put it on him, and now he got bit by a gypsy's kid or something.
Are we talking about the movie Thinner? Is that what this is?
No, that's a whole different movie.
Oh, okay.
Now, when you have a werewolf, you can't help yourself, but you have to bring in the next big one, number 3, which we consider to be Frankenstein.
Oh.
Or Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who really is the monster in that movie? Is it Frankenstein or is it his monster?
Yeah, it's funny, but I mean, Boris Karloff does kill people.
He does, but the whole point is Frankenstein himself is insane.
He's insane. He's got Frankenstein's a scientist.
Frankenstein's a scientist.
Well, he's wanting to play God.
And that in itself is monstrous.
When Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, it was right in the middle of the Victorian era. It was like early 1800s. So, I mean, it just fits. Right. It fits these people struggling with their belief in God and their belief in the supernatural. It's just that kind of movie. Okay, so the number 2.
I think number 2, it has a lot of relevance in the United States. Remember when there's a history of the Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building going up, and they're racing to see which
who could be the biggest and the tallest and the fastest.
Yeah,
be there.
And so then on top of it all, how do you get better than that? Is you have a monster
that chooses which one he climbs,
and he climbs one of them.
The Empire State Building.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're talking about King Kong.
King Kong is an amazing series of movies.
Yeah, I mean, they've made like a countless number of King Kong, Son of King Kong, Mighty Joe Young is even kind of like King Kong.
It is, but you have the original King Kong movie, which I will say is very entertaining to this day.
Still one of the best cinematic films for monster movies.
Yeah, I mean, when Peter Jackson remade that movie.
Yeah, it was still good.
It was a great movie that Peter Jackson did, but what I felt like it did is showcased how good the original was.
Yeah, because Peter Jackson's a huge fan of the 1933 King Kong.
Yeah.
It's like one of his favorite movies of all time, I think.
And the other cool thing is because of the fandom of Kong, Legendary grabbed Kong up and throwing him into their new series of movies.
Kong versus Godzilla, right? That's
yeah.
right. So, I mean, Kong is an influential pop culture icon, and people see King Kong.
Yeah.
They know who King Kong is.
They know exactly who King Kong is.
And I mean, there's no question. You see a picture of King Kong, you see King Kong commercial, you see King Kong in a movie. It's just a great movie and an incredible monster.
Yeah.
But this monster, King Kong, could not unseat the king of monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you're tickled pink about this one.
Yeah, no,
because our number 1 is probably your favorite monster.
My favorite monster.
Of all time. And I have to agree, at the end of the day, if you're going to put a monster versus a monster, this is the one that will still be standing at the end of the day.
Yeah. And of course, we're referring to
Godzilla,
that's right.
1954 Godzilla. Now, and I dare say its impact on pop culture is humongous.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, you're talking about a character that came from the 1950s.
Yeah.
Who has done somewhere around 36 films? 36 films.
And, the last 2 produced through Hollywood studios are a take on their own, but are huge in the blockbuster cell. And it's that thing that is generational. It's that everybody kind of understands Godzilla.
I think everybody knows Godzilla from some form, either the Japanese Godzilla with the voiceover. We've parodied that how many times? And then the 1980s, when they remade Godzilla and brought it to the live screen, they thought this was going to be the quintessential.
Yeah.
This is going to be the Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
And they even brought in, what's his name? That was in the original Godzilla to be in that movie.
Oh.
He wasn't in Godzilla.
Yeah.
Because they shot that film in Japan, Raymond Burr.
Yeah.
But he was in this movie too, if I remember right. And then later they redid it again, like 1990s with what was it? The kid from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller.
With Ferris Bueller, right?
Yeah. The whole thing with Godzilla and being the king of monsters, that He is the indomitable force that represents everything out of control in our lives.
I think you're right. And I think Godzilla deserves to be number one. He has impacted pop culture, not just in movies, but in comic books and cartoons. And anybody, I don't think there's a person on the planet that would not see Godzilla and go, that's Godzilla.
Yeah, that's Godzilla.
I mean, they would know. It's like Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Dracula.
He is as popular, or as recognizable, I should say, as the Universal Studio
I think
monsters.
So. And I think he brings together all that. So he brings together some of that old school 1933 King Kong feeling.
Oh, yeah.
He brings across into the 1950s that B-flick, monster-sized animal monsters that eat people. And it comes back into, the 1980s, some of that cliche stuff in the 1980s. And it's parodied a ton.
Yeah.
And then to today. So I mean, I think he covers the entire gamut of monsters.
Yeah, I think
Ghostbusters copied Godzilla.
Oh, the Stay-Puft is just a humorous Godzilla monster.
Absolutely. So I think there's no way Godzilla could be number one. Okay, so I was thinking,
Yes.
If it wasn't for movie monsters, we wouldn't have the costumes to wear today that we wear. We would have been dressing in the 80s of all these cool era characters and creatures.
We'd be wearing these creepy paper mache weirdo
Buffalo
masks.
Bill looking mask stuff, right? So I'm thinking we show what we think is the top 5 masks for 2020 and Halloween. Because I know a lot of people aren't going to trick or treat this year.
Oh, yeah.
2020 has literally been the worst year of 100 years.
It definitely is on the chart.
So the mask, obviously, coming for best of 2020 would have to be the worst of the last 100 years.
All right,
so our first one, right?
Yeah. Welcome to school 2020.
Zoom meeting Mike.
This is Zoom meeting, and guess what? This is how we at Whiskey Pop had to do how many months?
A couple months, right?
That is correct. It was ridiculous. We're like, how good of a microphone does your laptop have?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're like, this sucks.
I mean, you could really represent 2020 by knocking on somebody's door for trick or treat and Zoom meeting with them.
Everybody's gonna know exactly what that is. See, that is amazing, and you heard it here. So please,
Zoom meeting
like and love.
I mean, you can imagine, you can trick or treat and check the web at the same time.
Angry Karen.
I want to see your manager right now.
Everybody wants to see everybody's manager because we're all pimped.
Kind of creepy, yeah.
Yeah.
Angry Karen's creepy.
Oh, Karen.
She's like, get that out of my face. You do not know what kind of day I've had.
Yeah, because
my latte is cold.
I have been trapped in my house
the whole time. And now you're telling me I had to wear a mask? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm wearing a mask.
I'm a mask denier. Let me tell you. I'll vaccinate my kids, but by God, I'm not going to wear a mask.
Let me see my manager. Mm-hmm.
That is bad.
I mean, would you give this girl a candy bar? I wouldn't. I'd give her a popcorn ball.
Nobody wants popcorn balls. Get that out of here.
Can't get any worse, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, it can.
Unless you get attacked by murder hornets.
Did we already forget that the murder hornets were a thing?
Oh no, they're still here and they're watching your every move.
Why are there murder hornets? I mean,
it's 2020. It's like we have had plagues. Yeah. And now we have murder hornets. I'm just waiting for the frogs to start dropping.
It's like, here on Whiskey Pop, we're going to discuss your religious life and views.
Yeah, right.
Here comes the plagues.
I mean, you imagine you're outside, you're enjoying your peanut butter whiskey.
And this shows up on your
glass. And then the murder hornet goes, hey, pour me one of those.
Ladies and gentlemen, we still have 2 months left. Oh, stop, please.
Remember, the first of this pandemic.
Oh my!
People were visiting Walmarts like it was the end of times, right?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And
they're like hoarding all kinds of stuff, right? They're hoarding canned corn, cream corn, and
the day that
sanitizer.
The day you can't find Spam on the shelf, it's some kind of shit.
Something's gone bad.
Yeah, it's stupid.
There was a guy on the news who he bought like $35,000 worth of like hand sanitizer and was selling it for $50 a bottle.
Oh,
they busted his butt, but what they should have went after was toilet paper hoarder.
Yeah, oh my God.
That's right. You too could have toilet paper hoarder.
Yeah, the best part
costume
is that we all remember this, but the funny thing is because of how much has happened in 2020, that feels like 2019.
If this doesn't explain shit show, I don't know what does.
And if you were one of those people who fought over toilet paper,
what's wrong with you?
Shame on you.
I mean, geez, they make corn.
Oh God, shut up. That is so bad. Hey, now,
This
the
last
quintessential.
One, this last one, right?
And this is one of those things like, are we still, I mean, it seems so long ago.
But this tells you this is 2020.
This is the year from hell.
I mean, think about this. Okay, at the end of the day, we had things like murder hornets and toilet paper hoarders, and we had angry Karens. But at the end of the day, people still latched onto this as their hero of 2020.
Which, it's like ridiculous.
I'm telling you, dude, I made this mask this week, and people are like, "Can I have that?" I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. F you guys. This is effed up.
This is okay. So
this is okay.
We're middle of America, right? This is Oklahoma.
This is literally our back door.
This is the thing we don't want people to know Oklahoma for.
This ran for governor here. Like. Just can't take it.
She murdered her husband.
Yeah. Carol
Baskin.
Yeah, the Tiger King.
Tiger King.
I mean, seriously, it became a phenomenon.
You sure are sexy.
What is this? What is this dangly crap right
Oh,
there?
that was my
What is that?
That was my mustache.
I mean, we're talking, people dealing with meth.
The hollow eyes of the Tiger King.
Crack.
Watches you constantly.
Yeah, his mixed up love life with like younger men.
I suspect if I wore this out right now, there'd be more people wanting to take selfies with me during a pandemic than ever before.
Yeah, and then ever before. I guarantee you.
They're like, he's got a mask off. He's here to take a selfie with me.
The dude's serving jail time.
Check this out, baby.
An attempted murder plot. But yeah, we all flocked to this stupid ass show.
Like Whiskey Pop. Oh, wait, no. Tiger King.
Yeah, sorry. To be fair, I binge watched that in one sitting.
You know what's funny?
The entire thing.
I've watched 0 episodes of Tiger King.
Oh, well, give me that shit. You don't even deserve to wear it. This is mine. Because I'm part of the problem, ladies and gentlemen.
So America, you're welcome. Because in 2020, it's been so bad that these are the best things we got to produce for 2020 for Halloween masks.
And,
you won't find these at your local spirit shop or...
No, you won't find these. No.
Not going to find them in Walmart.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. So here at Whiskey Pop, we salute you guys. Have a safe Halloween. And worst case scenario...
Go try to get some chocolate anyway.
Go get some chocolate. I mean, at least you go to Walmart and just buy it.
Just stay socially distanced.
Very far distance. And don't go see the Tiger King, whatever you do.
Oh, my God.
So then, in the meantime, guys, we'll see you guys next week. And cheers.
Yeah, but I ran out already.
Oh, that's just not good. I'll drink yours too.